So another rocking short initiative here at Warriors of God, and again, unfortunately for them, in France's favor, or disfavor, depending on how you want to look at it. Anyhow, what happened? Well, the French opened things up by marching into Orleans to try to take Mowbray on. The aggressor there, they already had placed a unit there second to the English. The English pull Philippe down into Burgundy. They want to get claim of that valuable territory. French pulled in here, try to increase their chances there. English marched their army up into Scotland, and French end things by taking, at least removing Normandy from England's hands. But overall, this is not going to be a good turn for France no matter what because of Burgundy. The other battles, we'll see how they end up. So net effect after the battles. The French won the battle at Orleans and defeated whoever it was there, Mowbray. The English won a siege in Scotland, capturing Robert III, and they won the battle in Wales, killing Roger Mortimer and capturing Robert II, thereby pretty much clearing out that whole Scottish-Welsh threat, which more than makes up for whatever the French gain in Orleans and Normandy, probably. Although cutting this nice connection is probably a pretty potent swing as well. We'll see what that all works out as. We're definitely going to see some territory switching hands, though. Come back after production. So the French are in one of those annoying positions that can happen in this game. They can ransom off Brittany. Just reposition the forces. They can ransom off Brittany to save, say, Robert II, who is going to be worth 2 victory points unless he happens to croak. We'll ignore Robert III for now. But if they do that, they're probably giving another leader to the English. The English have the lack of initiative, therefore they get to pick their favorite here. That's going to be Henry Percy, probably. Which means the French will get Beaufort here, and then the English would get the next pick, which would probably be yet another Scottish lord. And by doing that, they may be able to choose to take Percy and put him somewhere more useful than Scotland. All very painful choices. It seems like it's better to hold on to the territory, even though they're going to lose a victory point for doing so. It's just a tough call, though. So let's say I do that. I'll go to the leader deaths and see what gets wiped out. Hey, maybe both of the Scottish kings will die. So the French did not get lucky here, but it wasn't as bad as it could be. The younger one died. That means Robert II is more likely to die. In fact, he'll die on a 1 through 5 next turn, or this upcoming turn. So that wasn't so bad for them. But we also do notice the French have gotten control of one of those little corridors, very powerful, and have broken the English one all to hell. But they lost their king, so they don't have a king this turn, which may help them because they might lose initiative that way, especially, well, now Richard's the king here and he's not in England. The English got another one. Henry IV has shown up. John Falstaff. Just to add a little humor to the whole thing. Anyway, when you start looking at the victory points, though, the English are at 26. There's not much the French can do to stop this right now. I mean, even if they achieve close to parity, it's still very, very risky. The only thing going in their favor, is there anything going in their favor? I actually don't see it. They don't have the leaders. They're going to be gaining Gascony this turn, but they may have to spread out and try to take risks this turn, and that usually will end things. But the position the English are in, they're going to gain Scotland this upcoming turn. By leaving Percy behind, they can move the rest of the forces down and really probably just march into whatever they want. If it's a lot of initiative, the English will be really well off from it. If it's not a lot of the initiative, well, the English are still going to be well off because right now they're pulling more victory points. They've still got 2 areas well, three three-point areas to France's one, two of them swinging over. And the 1 point area, or the 1 and 2 point areas, which count equally, are largely even. The French have one extra. Count against that, the fact of this, and which could conceivably survive. But I mean, we're looking at a 3-point addition for the English this next turn, if nothing changes, which you can't say is bad. On the other hand, if there's a lot of initiative, they have so many leaders that they should be able to capitalize on them. And I just don't see hope for the French. We'll see, though. These games usually don't last the whole time, which is kind of disappointing because really they're meant to represent a war that was almost unwinnable. But they almost always spiral into this kind of circumstance. So the French get bonused into the initiative again, and yeah, bonused. They make a move into Burgundy and Anjou, taking risks here, but the English armies moved into Normandy to take them on. And actually, instead of moving Richard, I'm going to end things up by moving Philippe down into Champagne, which he might be able to get conquest of, and that would help them tremendously. Okay, we got some definite problems here. Philippe of Burgundy is actually probably stronger than Louis de Orleans, therefore he's not going to fight a siege battle there. But again, as I said, the French have to take some risks here. Likewise here, a weaker force, they're probably going to actually fight a field battle, and this is destined to be a field battle. So we'll see how this all turns out. But I think this may well be the turn the French lose. They just need a tremendous string of luck at this point, and that's all there is. Well, the French they ended up losing both their battles. They were very close here in Burgundy. Knocked Philip down to just his horse, and then got one hit on that at the same time that they went away. Over here, it was less of a fair fight. We see, I don't know what happened to him. Oh, no, that's not him. I'm not sure where he ended up. I may have just tossed him in the bag. Oh no, there he is. He's disgraced. Excuse me. Yeah, he ended up retreating, being forced to retreat. And then the French did something very foolish, no question. They didn't take a siege in Normandy. Now, a siege in Normandy would have meant, it's a 2-5, it would have been on a 5 or higher, the English would capture the entire army. Instead, they fought basically 10 dice against 4, right? No, against 5, and ended up, just through attrition, etc. And the English got that many dice because of all their archers. Just because of attrition, numbers, all that, even though they rolled okay, the French were totally defeated there. And they stayed to the last man. Their army would have been trashed had they tried to retreat. Now, they could have rebuilt it a little bit, perhaps. But this is really I think I'm going to lose this turn if I'm not careful anyway, if I don't win anyway. Because we're looking at the English would be gaining this turn. This 5 points that they normally gain, maybe points for Robert, unlikely, and then make that 6 points because they're going to get Scotland. That's enough to win them the game. So what if France had taken, well, no, this is going to swing over though, so that'll even it up, but still 5 points, put it over the 30-point victory condition. What if France had taken the siege and driven the British off? Well, the English wouldn't gain much. They couldn't retreat into Brittany. They should have moved a unit in there to try to at least disrupt the French there. But the way the English just saw it is they wanted to tie down that French army, and they succeeded in doing that. So the French goal was basically, if I can destroy the English army, then maybe I get something. But you know, the points that they got here wouldn't be enough. What they actually had to do was capture some English leaders or kill some, and that didn't happen. I mean, they really had to win this battle. And so we have an Agincourt or Poitiers type situation, or Crécy, where the English just totally demolished the French army. And what happens? Well, it's game over. Because this game does not really accurately represent the entirety of the conflict, I think. I think the English historically would have won this game several times over in the course of the 100 Years' War. France certainly was in much worse shape than they are now at points in it, and I don't think the game can represent that. All right, let's look at where the points are going to lie, because I don't want to go through the mechanics of the turn for no good reason. We definitely have one more 3-point area, or 2 more 3-point areas. That's 6 points. Let's look at the French versus English areas. France is going to get that. England's going to get Scotland. We'll ignore those. Boink. France has 2 here. Make it 1, make it 2, make it 1. So it's going to be a 5-point difference, like I said. And there's, that's going to drive it off the map. Add to that 2 deaths and possible, if these guys don't die, Robert would have died, Henry would not. Reasonably, I would have traded points in for Henry, but I'd still lose. So, anyway, that's where we're at. Pretty much the wrap of this one. The 2 scenarios aren't terribly different. This one, the English with all their longbows, does make some difference between it and the other one. And then the added chrome, throwing in, the Joan of Arc, which we didn't see at all, right? It didn't get that far. And here's the thing. Historically, France was never winning this war. They never had a strong hold in France. It was always seemingly England that had the powerful little blocks in France. Granted, it didn't deteriorate perhaps this quickly, but I would definitely say that England, over the course of the length of time of the whole war, probably won a couple of times in terms of points. Yeah, we're halfway through. And that's kind of what I'm saying. England had this kind of holding in France. The French king never had tremendous support among the provinces. So I really don't think it does a good, accurate portrayal. But anyway, we'll come back with the review in a little bit, and we'll see what I have to say there.